Everything has its price. Dear God, help me be wise enough to see that as I give so it is meted out to me. Help me to know that with my every thought the good or ill that's mine myself I've wrought. Help me to place all blame of lack on me, not on my fellow man, nor yet on thee. Give me the courage, God, truly to know that as I'd reap in life thus must I sow. Vera M. Kreider in his essay on compensation, Emerson says, "What will you have?" Quote God. Pay for it, and take it. How can we buy the things we want at the counter of God? What pay can we offer? Perhaps the answer lies in the ancient law of karma. Karma is Sanskrit, you know, and means comeback. It is one of the oldest laws known to man. It is the law of the boomerang. Jesus quoted it when he said, "Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap." In the parlance of today, it is chickens come home to roost. Even in science we find it, as Newton's third law of motion, action and reaction are equal to each other. Ella Wheeler Wilcox expressed the law beautifully when she wrote, "There are loyal hearts, there are spirits brave, there are souls that are pure and true, then give to the world the best you have, and the best will come back to you. Give love, and love to your heart will flow, a strength in your utmost need, have faith, and a score of hearts will show their faith in your word and deed. For life is the mirror of king and slave, 'tis just what you are and do, then give to the world the best you have and the best will come back to you." One of the best illustrations of the working of the law lies in the two seas of Palestine, the Sea of Galilee and the Dead Sea. The Sea of Galilee contains fresh water and is alive with fish. Green trees adorn its banks and farms and vineyards spread all around it. The river Jordan flows into it, and all the little rivulets from the hills around feed its sparkling waters. The Dead Sea, on the other hand, knows no splash of fish, has no vegetation around it, no homes, no farms or vineyards. Travelers give it a wide berth, unless forced by urgent business to use its shores. The air hangs heavy, and neither man nor beast will drink of the waters. What makes the difference? The river Jordan empties the same good waters into both seas. So it is not the river. And it is not the soil or the country round about. The difference lies in the fact that the Sea of Galilee gives as it receives. For every drop of water that flows into it, another flows out. Whereas the Dead Sea holds on to all it receives. Water leaves it only through evaporation and seepage. It hoards all it gets, and the result is that the water stagnates, turns salt, and is good for naught. Unless a kernel of wheat falls into the ground and die, Jesus told us, it abideth alone. But if it die, it beareth much fruit. In other words, if you put your kernel of wheat safely away to keep, you will never have anything but a kernel of wheat, and in time it will mold and rot away. But if you sow it freely, let it die to you, it will bear much fruit. It is another way of saying, cast thy bread upon the waters, and it will return to you after many days increased 100-fold. In all of nature, the only known law of increase is that you must give to get. If you want to reap a harvest, you must first plant your seed. If you want to increase your strength, you must first break up the muscle cells and stimulate them to divide and grow. Division and growth is the way that all of life increases. Watch a single cell at work in your body, in a plant, or in any form of life. What happens? It first divides, then each half grows until it reaches its normal size, when it divides and starts growing again. Without division, there is no growth, only atrophy and decay. You must divide to grow, you must give to get. John Bunyan knew nothing of the law of cell growth, but he expressed it just as well when he wrote, "A man there was and they called him mad, the more he gave, the more he had." And Moffat had the same thought in his couplet, "One gives away, and still he grows the richer, another keeps what he should give, and is the poorer." Even the thoughts we send forth return to us laden with a harvest of their kind. That which we put into our thought comes back into our own lives, because for every thought there is a response, a return of the pendulum we have started swinging. It is the Einstein doctrine of the extended line, which must return to its source. There is no use saying you have not enough money or abilities to be worth starting with. Just remember the parable of the talents. The servant who was given 5 talents put them out at interest and made more, as did the one who was given 2 talents. But the servant who received only 1 talent felt that it was too little to do much with, so he buried it. And you know what happened to him when the master came back. Start with what you have and plant your seed, no matter how small and unimportant it may seem. You remember Jesus told us that the kingdom of heaven, or expansion, is like a mustard seed, which indeed is the least of all seeds, but when it is grown, it is the greatest among herbs, and becometh a tree, so that the birds of the air come to lodge in the branches thereof. What you have to start with can hardly be smaller than the tiny mustard seed. If it can grow into a tree, think what your seed may grow into. Do the thing and you shall have the power, says Emerson. But they that do not the thing have not the power. Everything has its price, and if the price is not paid, not that thing but something else is obtained. And it is impossible to get anything without its price. For any benefit received, a tax is levied. In nature, nothing can be given, all things are sold. Power to him who power exerts. You are not higher than your lowest thought, or lower than the peak of your desire. And all existence has no wonder wrought to which ambition may not yet aspire. O man! There is no planet, sun or star could hold you if you but knew what you are. The key to power lies in using what you have, for use releases more power, just as using your muscles builds them into greater muscles, and failing to use them makes them weak and useless. The one condition coupled with the gift of truth, Emerson tells us, is its use. That man shall be learned who reduces his learning to practice. And Goethe expressed it even more strongly when he wrote, lose this day loitering, it will be the same story tomorrow, and the rest more dilatory. Thus indecision brings its own delays, and days are lost tormenting over other days. Are you in earnest? Seize this very minute. What you can do or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Only engage and then the mind grows heated. Begin, and then the work will be completed.